Man, oh man. Why does YouTube fuck up as much as they do? Every time I try and go live on YouTube, I have to type everything in on the opening page because I have to put a title, a description, is it made for kids, blah blah blah. Go through 3 or 4 pages of that shit, hit go live, and it says, "Oh, something went wrong. Try again." You go try again, and then you got to fill out the whole fucking thing all over again. YouTube better get its shit together, or you're gonna lose fucking market share. Hey, Steve, looking for silver? How are you? And you know, I sent you some things that I thought were might be a little humorous in your package. You know, the little the young man and his friends. But if you don't find that funny, you know, you can tell me that, and I know not to send stuff like that again. But people send that to me, and so I just pass it along. You know how that goes. Well, I got a couple of packages that we're going to open. I got one from Rhonda, of course, and then I got one from Rhonda Tolliver, the lucky one. But I also want to talk about invasive plants because I noticed it's time to go pick cucumber again. Well, what the hell is wild cucumber? Well, it's a vine that grows up and it likes to grow up on the outside of trees, on the outside, on the sunny side of trees, and up onto top. And it will completely cover trees. Um, and the way to defeat it is just to keep pulling it every year. You follow the vine all the way down to the roots, pull it out because it's just very little shallow root, and take it and put it in a pile someplace. Let the sun do its job, or burn it. I burn it on a pile. And what happens is in the fall it gets that a little nut on it, like that soft nut, all over the vines, and they're spiny. They're a spiny little nut, and that drops, and the seeds come out, and then it spreads that way. But what it'll eventually do, it'll kill your whole grove. If you live in the country and you have a grove around your place on 3 sides or 4 sides, it will completely cover that grove and it will kill the trees because the leaves can't come out. And when the leaves can't come out, then the tree can't survive. And it'll eventually do that to a whole woodlot, or it will eventually do that to a whole cornfield. But with corn, what happens is, or beans, they spray with a broadleaf herbicide aimed at stuff like that, and that'll take care of it. But if you look in the ditches all around the country on the gravel road, right next to the fields of the corn and the soybeans, the ditches will be full of cucumber that will completely climb over all the weeds in the ditch and will completely take it over. It'll go over your fences. It's like grapevine. If you know how grapevine grows, and I have a pile of grapevine down here too that I have to cut off every year. And the best way to handle grapevine, because grapevine will shoot out roots, tendrils, and it will grow underground and then it'll pop back up someplace else. So you have to cut it off, spray a little Roundup, full strength Roundup, where you cut it off the root at ground level, and that'll kill it for a certain ways. And then you just have to keep doing that. And I'll take some video of some uh, cucumber I got down on the North Draw. I got to go pick. I followed one big one down the other day in a ditch and picked it. But there's some down on my North Draw, and we pick probably 2 pickup loads of it. I and my wife every year we pick it. Follow it down to the root, pick it up. You just gather it all up and put it in a pickup and take it over to burn pile and burn it. But it will take over your entire woods. It will kill all your trees. And I noticed there was a neighbor, old lady down the road, that had it growing up into her pine trees. And pine trees, what'll happen is pine trees grow their branches all the way down to the ground. Hey, cumulus. And that gives the vine space to get up into the branches and then grow up around the tree. And I told her the way to prevent that is to follow that vine down to the ground, right where it goes into the ground, pick that root out, because it's very shallow, it's only a couple of inches deep. Very easy to pick that. Pick all that vine down, make sure you get the seed pods, all of them, and fire and burn it, and then cut your pine trees about, I don't know, waist high, 4 or 5 foot up above the ground, from the ground up. And that will prevent the cucumber from climbing up the trees. True, it can climb up the trunk if it finds purchase, but it doesn't usually do that. It will climb up the branches because it likes to climb on the outside. And lo and behold, she did that, and she hasn't had any cucumber in probably 15 years now in her grove. But down the road, there's another guy, and he just lets it go. And it has covered at least a fifth of his grove so far in the years I've watched it grow. And I can stop and warn people about it, but people just don't listen. They don't listen. They don't want to do that work. They don't want to go out and pick the stuff. They don't want to go out and pick it. And you have to follow, because it goes all over. And so you have to start stripping it off the branches. You strip it off the branches of the tree. You find where the main stalk goes down to the ground. You pull a root, and then you can pull all of it off a tree and throw it in your pickup or a wheelbarrow or whatever, and take it up to a pile and just burn it. Don't let the sun kill it, and then burn it. But it's like grapevine, wild grapes. And wild grapes are good for feeding the birds. They're not real good for people. They're real bitter and they're real small. But grapevine grows underground. It has a root system that goes underground, and it'll pop up and it'll grow, and it'll start getting on trees. And those vines will get real thick. Those vines will get real thick, and you have to cut them with a chainsaw, or you cut them with a machete or something, and pull them off of the trees. But the only way to kill them is with full strength Roundup. Back in the day, you used to kill with WD-40 or WD-40. Oh, Jesus, WD-40. Oh, you know what I mean. The stuff that we outlawed because of eagle eggs. WD-40. Yeah, we spray on nut loosener. No. Yeah, I'll think of it here in a second. But we used to spray that stuff on. Well, now we got Roundup, so we use Roundup on everything. Oh, Roundup causes cancer in humans if you use too much of it, or you get too much of it on your skin or whatever. Then you're susceptible to it. It'll give you cancer. I've sprayed it all my life. A lot of farmers around here have sprayed it all their life, but maybe that's why there are more incidences of cancer in Iowa, and especially northern Iowa, than there is in the rest of the nation because of Roundup, spraying with Roundup. But yeah, I'll go down, I'll do a couple videos on it, and I'll show you guys invasive species and what it can do. We in this country have had very lax standards as far as stuff coming into our ports and allowing people to bring invasive species here for economic purposes, like tilapia. Tilapia is a good example. carp, Asian carp, German carp, this carp, that carp, taking over waterways, crowding out game fish, native game fish. What are some other? Oh, red fox. Red fox is an invasive species. You didn't know that, did you? It's not native to this country. It was brought over here by the English colonists to hunt. The gray fox, the Arctic fox, the swift fox, the kit fox, those are native to this continent, but not the red fox. Red fox are native to Europe. Tilapia is another one. Zebra mussel is another one. And a lot of those invasive species are involuntary. They come over in container ships or attached to container ships or whatever, and they don't get inspected well enough to prevent the invasive species from getting over here. And that's the thing with rats, the bubonic plague, the black plague in Europe. How did that get spread? By fleas. Fleas on what? Rats. How did the rats spread? Well, they didn't kill enough of them. They didn't have enough dogs. They didn't have enough cats. They didn't use a poison at all because they didn't have poisons. But the rats were transported around by ships, cargo ships. There you go. Now we got screwworms in Texas. We have a prion disease, bad cow disease, which has gotten into our deer population. And now we have CWD disease in deer, which is the same thing. It's a brain disease that attacks the prions in the brain. The infected animal doesn't eat, just wanders, doesn't sleep, doesn't drink, dehydrates, and starves itself to death. And if you shoot a deer like that, you should let it lay, call a game warden to come out and look at that deer and remove that body for reasons, because that's how deer spread it, is by real close contact. So if you get a lot of deep snow in the winter, like up north, and you have deer yards where deer are all gathered together in a real small area, they get it by touching each other's noses, bodily fluids. And cows are the same way, because a lot of cows are raised, cattle are raised on lots, feedlots now. They're not raised on an open range, open pasture anymore where they can spread out. They're confined. And I can show you plenty of cattle confinements up here, along with hog confinements. Fortunately enough, our hogs haven't got any diseases like that so far. Cattle have. So you have to be real careful about cattle confinement and looking at the herd of the cattle. But once they get it, then you're going to destroy a whole herd. Or if you get, what's the bird disease that came from China? No, not COVID, but another one. Where turkeys and chickens got it, and they had to destroy millions of them to keep it from spreading. Oh, I can't remember that disease anymore. I'm not sure. Ooh. A hydroplow. Well, yeah, that'd be all right to have, I guess. I don't see why that wouldn't be bad. If you got the money, that'd be all right. A snowblower would be nice to have, especially in areas like this. But my yard is so big that a little snowblower wouldn't do me any good. I'd have to have a big snowblower, like on a tractor, a bigger tractor, 3-point. But then I think, well, maybe a plow on the front of a pickup would be better. But I have a skid loader and I got a tractor with a bucket on too. And I have an add-on snow bucket for the tractor, and chains because it's a 2-wheel drive tractor, but there's only been 1 or 2 years that I've even had to use chains. It looks like it's going to rain today. I don't know. And if it's going to rain tomorrow, I'm not going to pick up that gun case over at the Mason City Glass because I had 2 new sliding glass panes put in it. And if it's going to rain, I'm not going to bring that wood home unless I put a tarp on it somehow. But yeah, I got to pick that up. So tomorrow I got the VA, and we're going to talk about my blood test. I am good on my blood test. I got the results back. Does anybody know what a bun is? A BUN? As far as, hold up a second. I'm sure my wife can explain it to me, but she's not home. She went to church. My blood test came back. I took the blood test last week, so I get to do a teleconference with my doctor down in Des Moines because I'm 3 hours away from Des Moines. So, what's low? Oh, it's my kidney function test, a BUN. The E, GFR, is over 90, and the normal range is over 60. So I'm good there on that kidney function test. But the other kidney function test, the BUN, I'm just 1 point low from the low. The normal range is 10.0 to 26.9. I am 9 milligrams per deciliter. So I'm just 1 point low. All the rest of my blood tests look good. So I'm good, man. Blood sugar, I'm at 101 milligrams per deciliter, and the normal range is 74 to 106. A lot of these things I may be at the higher end of the normal range, but I am within normal range yet, so I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, every year I got to do that. Every year. Yeah, the avian bird flu, that's it. $200, and if they're asking 600 to 800, look for something wrong with it. Just be careful. Just be careful. But if you don't find anything wrong with it, then that's a good buy. Even if there's something wrong with it that you can fix for maybe 100, 150 bucks, still wouldn't be a bad buy. But just look. Just look and be careful. Well, I took my bandage off last night because I want to let it dry out a little bit before I go over Tuesday to get stitches out. I'll put it back on some more triple antibiotic, just to soften everything up. But I've noticed, if you notice, right up here, the feeling is fine. All the way on the back, around the nail, feeling's fine. On the downside of the stitches, I can't see it. On the downside of the stitches, it's not bad. Here, right here, I have no feeling. Right there on the pad of the finger, in between where the stitches are, I have no feeling here whatsoever. Nothing. There's blood flow there, but I have no feeling. Can't even find them usually, huh? It's rough. Well, it's rough. What the hell? Rusty, needs paint, whatever. But if it's really bad as far as being bent out of shape or rusted through, that's something there then. But yeah, see that? No feeling on the pad right here. No feeling at all. Up here, yeah, I got feeling. Right here, that's where I don't have it. But hey, maybe it'll come back. Who knows? Cosmetically challenged is not a big deal. You can remove rust. You can repaint stuff. That's not a big deal. I do that with kerosene heaters all the time. If they're rusted through, that's a problem then. Because then you start talking about body filler and, having to do all that metal work. Not good idea. But if it's just cosmetically challenged, yeah, that can be taken care of. Relatively cheaply, too. Relatively cheaply. I got a couple of packages I should open up real quick. We'll get them done, and then I got to go and pick cucumber and go down and cut grapevine. So that means I got to put on pants and work boots instead of shorts and a t-shirt. I'll wear a t-shirt, but I got to put on pants because where I go, there's a lot of itchweed. And itchweed doesn't bother me that bad. Yeah, you get itch all over, but the thing is, if you don't itch it, you just let it, it will actually numb itself in a couple of days and it'll go away. But if you sit there and you itch it, and then you're just going to make it worse. And so I've learned not to itch it over the years. But itchweed actually is pretty good eating stuff. If you've ever gathered itchweed, leaves, a lot of itchweed leaves, bag it, bring it in the house. If you boil it, that removes all of that itching chemical that's in the water. Drain it, and you can eat it. It's just like spinach, just like cooked spinach, and very, very high in vitamins and minerals. But itchweed is real good. I taught survival for a lot of years, and itchweed is one of those plants in the summertime that's really good to eat. You just have to know how to prepare it, and you got to boil it. Nice rolling boil. Drain it. Fresh water. Drain it. Eat it. Butter and salt. Awesome. Cattail. Cattail is one of the best plants you can have for survival. Yes, remember Yule Gibbons? You can. Many parts are edible of a pine tree. Yeah, many parts are edible, especially the inner bark. Do you like homemade noodles? That's kind of what the inner bark of a pine tree is like. Homemade noodles. But yeah, all right. That's a different time of my life. If you want to know about any survival stuff, let me know. All right, let's open some stuff here. We'll get out the package opening tools here. Well, let's do Rhonda's first, shall we? Rhonda sent me in this nice red, white, and blue package. Heavy, too. I don't know. I have to keep this. Somehow try and keep this. She did use a lot of tape. Rhonda had some kind of an emergency, whether it was a vehicle or whatever it was. So she decided she was going to have to sell some of her silver. I said, I really don't want you to sell your silver. I would like to see you borrow money against your silver. That way you keep your silver and you pay back the loan. And she said, no, she didn't want to do that. She wanted to sell this silver. I said, okay, I'll buy it then. And I've done that for several people. And I give them the option. I said, you can buy this back within a year. I'm going to give you a year's time frame. for the same money that I bought it from you for. So I'm not going to charge you any interest. I'm just going to charge you shipping. So you send it to me. You pay to have it shipped back if that's what you want. I don't know if I can get this tape off here, but if I can get this tape off here, I'm going to save this. And I'll do that later. And you can have your silver back. But I want to give you a year's time limit. So you have the time limit of a year. Take care of your business. You can buy your silver back, same price I bought it from you, the same price. You just pay the shipping to have it shipped back to you. So basically, I'm just giving them a loan. But if they never, ask to get their silver back, then it's mine after a year. So I don't mind doing that. If people need a hand, but there are people who will take advantage of that. And I'm not saying these people will take advantage of that, but we're not saying Rhonda will, but I will absolutely do that for people. I don't like to see people sell their physical assets. I would rather you keep those. I would rather you give those to your sons or daughters, pass it on down the line. You know, giving them a physical asset, I think, is a better idea than giving them cash, money. Because that's what my daughters will do. They will eventually inherit everything that I have. Okay, that's it for in there. Rhonda, you spent probably $5 worth of tape. You didn't really have to tape things up that much. But let's see what's in here. I don't know. Not even sure what it was. I just know what she was asking for it and what she wanted. Yeah, I just know what it is that she wanted to do. Huh. That's hard on my finger. I might be able to keep that one. We can reuse that one, I think. What about this one? Yeah, well. Yeah, some of this is. Okay. That seems to be it right there. Let's see what we got here. We got a benchmark gold grain, quarter grain gold card. Nice. Okay. Get this out of the way. Put that right there. What do we got in this bag here? I bet this is 90% stuff. Maybe, maybe not. Might be some smaller stuff. Ooh, I don't know. Looks like quarters. There is $1.25 worth of Washington quarters. Oh no, there's a standing liberty in there. There's one standing liberty. Washington. $1 worth of Washingtons and a standing liberty quarter. Okay. I think people overestimate what their stuff is worth at times. But like I say, I don't mind helping people if they don't take advantage of me. And what do we got here? We got some more quarters. It looks like it appears to be, might be more quarters. A 58, a 62, and a 41. There's a couple of nice lookers in there. And then you got this one. Nothing special on that one. I don't know why that one's even in a 2x2, but that goes to go down there. Those two look real nice, though. Those two look real nice. Those two little black spots. I believe that might be on coin. Let's see. Yeah, those two little black spots look like they are on the coin. Doesn't look like that is a... Otherwise, it doesn't look bad. That's going to come out of that 2x2, though. We will see whether that's on a 2x2 or the coin, but I think that's on the coin. And then we got this. And what do we got here? We got, Patriots round. I got some packaging still on there. Oh, don't trade on the American Revolution. Let me see. Let me see. That's a reeded edge. $2019, 1 troy ounce, $9.99. Fine silver. That'll go in with my military stuff, that's for sure. That'll go in with my military stuff. But what I'll do is I'll keep this all separate with Rhonda's name on it. And in a year's time, if she wants to buy it back anytime within the year, then she can. I have several people that have taken advantage of that offer. And I don't know whether I'm such an idiot or not, but I don't mind helping people. Hi, AG. Uh-oh. What's happening here? No challenge, yeah. The deal is, yeah, we got a lot of tomatoes too. I've been eating BLTs a lot the last couple of days. So the one thing I do like is BLTs, and the wife's been putting away canned tomatoes. So yeah, usually we just put canned tomatoes away and then not make the sauces and stuff. When we uncork the, what do we got here? I don't know what this one is for sure. I've seen it before. I don't know. Is that dollar? There we go. That's what it is. So there's a 90%er dollar. And then we got another. Ooh, there's a nice Kennedy, a 64 Kennedy. That was nice too. That'll go with my Kennedy stuff. I have a whole box of Kennedy stuff. That one's a nice one. Looks pretty good. And then you got that dollar. Yeah, I didn't have that dollar before. That goes in with my 90% stuff. And then we got one left. A slab. And I'm not a real big one on slabs. I think most newer stuff that's slab, pretty much marketing gimmick. But this is a slab Benji. Proof 67. It's a 61. Slab Benji. Pretty good looking coin. And I do have a lot of Benjis, so I'll take that. All right, that's what we got from Rhonda. And we'll throw a lot of stuff away. Some of that we'll keep for reuse, but yeah, that's what we got right there. Let's see if I can some of this out. And we'll just put some of this out like this. Like this. There you go. So then, yeah, if she wants to, Rhonda, if you ever want to buy it back within a year's time, I'll write it down. I have stuff written down when I bought stuff from people. And if you ever want it back at the same price, then you can have it back at the same price. You just pay for shipping, that's all. It's not a big deal. I understand people need money at times to fix cars, buy cars, unexpected bills. I've had them myself. And what I've had to do generally, I sold 3.5 ounces of gold. I sold 3.5 ounces of gold. All of them in 1/10 in 1/10 coins. Either they were 1/10 gold eagles, or they were 1/10 Money Metals Exchange Eagles. 3.5 ounces I sold. So that's what we got. And then we still have this one from Stack Ann. Rhonda and Stack Ann, we got coins, coins, and coins. Coins, coins, and coins. Silver, silver, and silver. And this will all get put in its own little container. And we'll go back here in my my box. And I have people's stuff in this box that have since said that they needed a little extra. So that's what we do. I'm trying to become a bank. No, not really, but I don't really want to be a bank, but I will be a bank for certain people if they need help. So there, and then we'll write on this one. Where's my we'll tape that. Let's see. And I'll put a date on there. When was it? 8/something/26. I have to look up and see when I bought it and how much I bought it for. And then tape it up and put it in a box. And then write it down in my notes. And there you go. And then in a year's time, I'll look at it. Until then, I won't even touch it. It'll just be in the box. No tomatoes this year. Yeah, we got green bell peppers coming in right now. I don't know. My wife just doesn't plant different colored peppers. They all taste the same, just different visually. But if I make salsa, I like colors in my salsa. And so what she'll do for yellow is she'll put corn in the salsa. Well, that's fine, but she uses too much corn, and I would like to have some yellow bell peppers in there because I'm more of a bell pepper guy than I am corn. And she likes black beans, and I'm not real big on a lot of black beans, but she'll put too many black beans in my opinion now. But see, that's where my wife gets her protein, with beans. She doesn't eat a lot of meat. And then she doesn't eat a lot of potatoes. She'll eat more rice. And I'm not a rice eating. I like rice, but I don't like it as much as she does. I got Skittles. Always got Skittles. What else I got in there? Ooh, oh. Lifesaver gummies. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Ooh, what else do I got? I got Haribo gummies. Yeah. Got Haribo gummies too. Well, any more in there? Come on, I need more candy. Nope. Just the maple. We will definitely save this one. This is just a special maple is all it is. It just don't get real excited, guys. You know me and Canadian stuff, right? She had it on her table. Nobody picked it for races and races and races. So I just offered to buy it from her. She said, okay. I like these. I donut know how to thank you. I like to keep those. Those are cooler than shit, I think. All right. Maple. See this red one? She had it on the table, you guys, for a long time, and nobody took it because it was a two-banker. But I like it. So I offered to buy it. And it comes with this neat little, you can set it up on your desk, just like that. Turn it around, set it up like that. If you like looking at him, I don't. I would rather look at Maple Leaf. Hey, Targansu, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it reminds me of a sugar cookie, too. I got a couple other ones. They're the Tree of Life, and they got a maple leaf on the backside. There's a red one and a green one, or a blue one. I'm not sure. I got both of those also, and I saw this one. It'd make a nice companion to those two. And those aren't Canadian coins. Those are just they're coppers, but they're done with the same sugar cookie, and they got a maple leaf on one side, and then on the other side they got the Tree of Life on, which I thought was kind of neat. So I got both of those. And it comes in this nice little red slip. See, 24 karat gilding, limited to 100 pieces. Look at that, 100 pieces. I thought that was kind of neat, and it sat up there for a couple different weeks, and nobody took it. Nobody took it. Well, let's see. Get it out of here again. Yeah, it sat up there for a couple weeks and nobody took it. So I just decided I was going to buy it. Hey, Block, what's up? I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. It's a good, not investment, a good addition. A good addition, I thought. There. Candy, candy, candy. The coin and a little thank you card. I like that a lot. A lot. I like that. Oh, coffee. Yeah. That coffee's got honey in it. And some glucosamine chondroitin. I buy it by the gallon, the glucosamine chondroitin, and I can get it from a vet supply place. It's for horses. So you just put a little splash in your coffee. And because it's not the best tasting, then you put a little honey in there with it and good to go. Send that to you? No, I don't think so. That's the only one of those I've seen. And again, it says, come on, limited. This coin is limited to 100 pieces. You see that? Ruby dust in 24 karat gilding. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And like I say, it sat on her table for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. And nobody took it. I should not be eating candy. Well, you're right. I'm fat. I am overweight. I'm not fat. I'm just overweight, like 20 pounds, 30 pounds overweight. But I think I'll eat that. You want to know why I'll eat that? Because I sit here late at night and I'm like you, Block. I got to have chocolate. I got to have popcorn. I got to have snacky stuff. Sometimes I want chocolate, sweet. Sometimes I want salty popcorn. Or I don't like to eat chips per se, unless they're like corn chips, like salsa chips, dipping chips like you would get at a restaurant. I'll eat those because those aren't so salty. They're not as bad for you as some of those other processed chips are. I will eat some corn chips if I have some kind of a dip to go with it. But no, if I need something salty, it's usually popcorn with a lot of butter on it. Because I believe in eating natural butter. I don't believe in fake butter. I don't believe in margarine. I don't believe in, because butter is what? Milk fat. It's good for you. It's natural. It's not a petroleum product. Good Lord, guys. All that shit that's made out of petroleum is not good for you. Petroleum should go in your car. It should be grease for your bearings. It should be oil to lubricate your car. It should be fuel for your car. Internal combustion engine. You shouldn't fucking eat it. God, man. And just look at ingredients on stuff and see how much artificial sweetener is in it, especially corn syrup. If you're going to eat sugar, if you have to eat sugar, eat some brown sugar. Not the really crunched up fine brown sugar, but coarse brown sugar. Before they bleach the shit out of it and make white sugar. Sugar is not naturally white, it's brownish color. They use a bleaching process to make it white. I don't know what it is, why Americans have to have their food colorful. You can make it colorful naturally, not artificially, but Americans have decided over the years that they have just accepted artificial colors in their food and, it must be good for us, otherwise they wouldn't put it in our food. Bullshit. It's good for their bottom line. They give a fuck about your health. All they're doing is making patients for the medical insurance industry. You guys, some people are just so out of touch, so unattuned to things that It's beyond my comprehension. Everything in this world, modern world, is done for two reasons. Two reasons and two reasons only. One is for profit. The other is for religious zealotry. And you can have that discussion about there's only two forces in the world, good and evil. Okay, what do those two things, religious zealotry and um, unrestricted uh, monetary profits, are they good or are they evil? Well, that's for you to decide, I guess. I know where I sit on that. Yeah, I can look at food, a plate of Italian food or Mexican food or Greek, French, uh, Eastern European food. I can look at that. Man, that's looks like some pretty bland looking stuff, but you taste it and it's just great food. But yes, you can naturally beef up the eye appeal. That's why we have red bell peppers and yellow bell peppers and green bell peppers and um, but most food is not naturally colorful. Why we've made eating with our eyes a thing? I don't understand that. That's what taste buds are for. Why should food be visually appealing if it tastes great? What I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do I and I love Captain Crunch cereal. I love Fruit Loops, but I really don't like all the dyes and shit that they put in them. That's why I quit eating them for years. And when we were kids, if we got any kind of a cold cereal, it was always Wheaties or Corn Flakes or Cheerios. That's it. That's all you got. And that was generally in the big bulk bags because there was 11 of us sitting around a table eating food. One income in that household. There were times for supper, what we had was um, bread and milk. My mother made her own bread. She never bought any. She always made it. And we got milk from the dairy farmer down the road who milked cows. So we would go get whole milk. We would skim off the cream. Um, my mother would make cheese, and she would heat up a big pot of milk so it was nice and hot, warm, hot, and you put bread in it, and that's what you had for supper. Salt and pepper, good to go. And you were lucky, very, very lucky, if you got fried potatoes to put in with the milk and the bread. Because then there was something in there that had some substance to it. Yeah, the red ones are way better for you. Uh-huh. Red dye number 5, 3, whatever the hell's in there. No, it's not. Yeah, I would grow the red ones and the yellow ones too. They all taste the same. There's no difference in taste from the reds, yellows, and greens. They're all bell peppers. But why people want to, I don't know, they pay twice as much for something of a different color. Makes no sense to me. But hey, I guess I'm not eating it. Green bell peppers don't exist. I would venture to argue with you on that because you can let these green bell peppers out here grow as long and as much as you want, and they'll get streaks of red in them, but they won't turn red. I'll argue that all day. The red ones are way better. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I I don't know about that. If you cut them, they smell the same. They taste the same. They just don't look the same. Now, does the sun do something to the plant naturally that makes that red better? I don't know. I am not that well versed. But yeah, well, beets are not red; they're purple. But I like beets. I especially like pickled beets. I really like pickled beets. Really, really like pickled beets. Hot beets are okay, if you want to boil beets and cook them and make them hot. I do like to smash them up, put butter on them, salt and pepper. I do like mashed potatoes. I do like beets, but I never liked them as a kid. Never did like them as a kid. Same thing with asparagus. Never liked it as a kid. Wouldn't eat the shit. And there are still some foods to this day that I won't eat that I didn't like as a kid. And one of them is beef or pork liver. I won't eat it. I won't eat it. I just don't like the taste. But I do know that most people overcook meat. But then again, liver is an organ. It's an organ meat. And organ meats should be cooked well done. And that means above 160 degrees internal temperature. But I just don't never have liked liver. There are other foods that I will eat that I didn't like as a kid, and asparagus is one of them. Vegetables, mostly vegetables, but liver and onions, and I like onions. I really do. I like cooked onions. I like raw onions, but I just can't do liver and onions. Never could, and I don't think I ever will. I will eat cooked hog brains before I eat a liver. Hog brains and scrambled eggs are good. I will eat I will eat testicles before I eat liver. Hog nuts, beef nuts are good, but I won't eat liver. And I won't eat kidneys. Think about it. Kidneys and livers are supposed to be for filtering poisons from the body. Those organs that filter poisons from the body. The heart is the strongest muscle in your body. It's a muscle. Okay. Brain doesn't filter poisons from your body. Testicles do not filter poisons from your body. So, yeah, I'll eat just about anything else. Oh, another thing I never did like is that when we did butcher, the old man, when we cut the throat on a hog, he would hold a pan and catch all the blood. And he would make bloodwurst, blood sausage. I'm not real big on blood sausage. I don't like the flavor. Too much of an iron taste to it. I would rather taste the meat, not the flavor of the blood. It was unappealing to me. Unappealing. And I know there are people who like blood pudding and blood sausage. Just not, I'm not all about that. As a matter of fact, when it comes to bleeding an animal or gutting it, the smell of the blood does nothing for me at all. I have no feeling or sensations one way or another. Human blood, on the other hand, makes me physically ill. The smell of human blood makes me physically ill. Why? I don't know. Purslane is good for you. Yes, and it makes spinach look bad. But it's the same thing with nettles, stinging nettles, or itchweed. Very, very good. That makes spinach look bad also. Cow tongue is good. There's nothing wrong with cow tongue. It's a muscle. You know where I eat cow tongue a lot? Is in tacos. Tacos and burritos. Lingua. I've tried deer tongue. Deer tongue is too much work. Boiling it and then skin it, and for the little meat that's inside, it's not worth it. So we didn't do that. But cow tongue, yeah, okay. Tripe. Um, I'm not a big eater of tripe, but I would prefer um, those as sausage casings over collagen casings. I would rather have intestines for sausage casings. For wieners and bratwurst and ring bologna and all that, I would rather have natural casings. In America, we don't eat horses for some stupid reason. We don't eat horses. They're a pet. We don't eat dog either for some stupid reason, or cats for that matter. South of the border, they eat cats. A lot of horses here either go to dog food and glue factories or they get shipped overseas to France. A lot of horses go overseas and get butchered overseas. They probably get butchered on a ship and the meat gets delivered when it hits a port. But yeah, I remember a lot of horses in the sale barn. There'd be buyers in there buying for shipping overseas. I myself have eaten horse steak in the military. I have eaten a horse steak. I didn't find it bad at all. It's a nice, um, it's more like elk in the fact that it's more of a grained meat, a close grained meat that way. Um, it's not a white meat like an elk or a lighter colored meat. It's a darker, but it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But in this country, we treat animals, and I don't know, that's a problem with Western society, as you become more and more economically higher in the chain, that you start thinking more of the animals and the oppressed classes in the world than you do of your own well-being. Whether that's good, that's bad. When it comes to animals, that's probably good. When it comes to being very tolerant of other religions, that could be a real problem for your society. Alligator is good. You can have that down south. And a lot of times, meat tastes bad because of improper handling and improper cooking. I remember a lot of deer meat I didn't like back in the day because it was overcooked. My mother would overcook deer meat until it was done. And that's not how you cook a steak. That's a beef steak or a deer steak. Yes, you cook it till it's 160 internal temperature, but you don't cook it so well done that it. I like I like my deer pinkish inside. I like my beefsteak red to pink on the inside. Pork steak should be cooked well done because of the chance of um, contracting a disease. But most most meats, and alligator is one of them. It depends on what part of the alligator you're talking about too, because there are fishy parts of the alligator, and then there are good tasting parts of the alligator. The tail is probably the best. Um, because again, think of a large muscle group. And what really is there on an alligator besides tail and legs? Really, that's about it. You got a backbone, but really not much meat there. Jowls, that's all fat. There's muscle there, but it's all fat. And you don't want to eat the fat at all. It's like fat on a bear. You don't want to eat bear fat. Bear fat boiled down makes good waterproofing for leather, but it doesn't make good food. How about great big flathead catfish? What's the best part of a great big flathead catfish? Catfish are bottom feeders anyway. Yes, blue cats and channel cats will eat live prey, but generally um, they're bottom feeders. And on a flathead, the best meat's a belly meat. The belly meat, not the meat along the backbones, because most people don't know enough to take out that uh, blood vein, that red, that dark red strip of meat on a fish. You have to take that off to get to the white meat. And on the belly, they don't have that strip of red meat. So flathead belly is good. Good if you've ever had it. Frog legs are good. Big frogs, you can eat the whole frog. Um, I've never eaten a salamander. I would imagine some salamanders are good and some are bad, but I've never eaten one. A lizard. I've never eaten a lizard other than an alligator. So I don't know. Like an iguana. I'm sure iguanas are good to eat, but I've never had one. Yeah, you can. Yeah, springbuck and there are other animals you can get jerky from South Africa. Like if you went to South Africa to hunt, you can't import the meat back to the United States. You can import the head and the hide back to the United States, but not the meat. But you can get jerky meat because that's cooked. It's cooked, and you can get that, but you can't bring like coolers of raw meat back. That's just not going to happen. Hey, SGT, I was talking to um, St. Nick and Donna McCoy last night on Block Channel, and I didn't know they lived out there by you. Where does St. Nick live? In Ottawa, and you're in Aurora, right? And so that's not that far apart. And I think Donna is also in Ottawa or somewhere right around there. But yeah, that's not real far. Um, Ottawa used to be where. Remember when Skydive Sandwich shut down? Roger Nelson had a skydiving place in Sandwich, Illinois, little town. And when that airport got sold, and he got out of prison, he moved it to Ottawa for a little while. I don't know how many years it was in Ottawa, but I made a few skydives there. I know I did. I think that's the last place I saw Roger alive. And then he did the place up in wherever it is right now, Skydive Chicago. Where is that at? I can't remember. It's up there someplace. But now Rook, his son, owns the place. And a friend of mine, Timmy Keppen, just retired from doing tandem instructing this year. So we moved out of there in 99 and 99, I believe, when I was still skydiving. So he's done another 26 years since then. So yeah, he'd be in his 60s now, or real close. And he just quit being a tandem instructor. Where the hell is it now? Skydive Chicago. Where is it now? I know I went up there and saw him. I didn't make a jump there. I did out at CSC, Chicago Skydiving Center. I remember where that was. Skydive Midwest in Wisconsin, huh? My first one was a little place in Kansas, just west of Kansas City. I can't even remember the name of the place anymore. I think that was back in '86. Yeah, I think that was in '86. I had already been military jumping for 6 years at that point. So I had 20, 25, 30 military static line jumps under my belt by the time I went out and learned to skydive. But yeah, Skydive Chicago was in Ottawa, but I don't know where it's at right now. I'd have to look. And then the Chicagoland Skydiving Center is in. Hold up, let me get my book. See, people do this on their phone anymore. They have apps, they have technology to keep track of their jumps. I'm still old school to the point where I have a logbook and I write everything down in it, and I have people sign it. A lot of these are Baldwin, Wisconsin. And let's see, where were the last ones at? Let's see, Baldwin. Rochelle, Illinois. That's where Chicagoland Skydiving Center is at, in Rochelle. That's where a lot of people from Hinckley went when Hinckley closed down, was the Rochelle. And what do we have there? We had a Caravan. That was the airplane we had there. Caravans seem to be a real popular skydiving airplane anymore. And 801FL, and then the one out at Rochelle was an 801FL and 208 TP. Yes, and I write tail numbers on. And I got to see some of my old buddies from Hinckley. Andy Boyd was there, Brian Voss, John Fleickhaus, Gene Vettarelli. And I met some new people. Amy Tevasimo, Yanni Pelek, Matt Coffender, and Haley something or another. And what I did was I went out and I laid base for practice jumps. They were going to do a memorial jump for two of the people that we used to skydive with and spread ashes, and they were going to do a jump. And so I went out and we did practice jumps, and I laid base for them guys. I wasn't on the memorial jump, but I laid base for the practice jump. So I'm good at that because I fall fast and I fall stable, and that lets people aim at me. Anyway, yeah, this is like my fourth or fifth book. I don't know. And see, I am a POPS or a Skydivers over 60 member, a POPS member, Parachutes over 40. Is that in here? No, that's not here. It's in one of my other books. It's one of my other books. And see, people I meet, I try to write down their names and stuff. I met Julie, she was a sergeant first class, retired in E7 from Fargo, North Dakota. She would come and jump in Baldwin, Wisconsin, believe it or not. A Romanian guy, Constantine, a Yugoslavian guy, Zoran, another Yugoslavian guy, Svet, S-V-E-T, Svet. All the camera guys, all the riggers. Oh yeah, it's fun stuff. But yeah, Rochelle, Illinois, and Ottawa, and Hinckley, and Sandwich. Yeah, I did some skydiving around Illinois, skydiving around Wisconsin, Minnesota, Montana. Where else did I make skydives at? Georgia, um, Illinois, a lot. Iowa, um, Kansas, not Nebraska, not South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri. Otherwise, all around me. And several other states. Montana, yes, I made skydives out there. Made skydives down in Georgia. Florida. Yeah, I made skydives in Florida. I don't think I ever made skydives in California. Or nothing on the West Coast. I made jumps, military jumps on the West Coast, military jumps on the East Coast, military jumps in about 30 different states, but skydives, no. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not real sure I want to paraglide at all either. Parasailing would be all right. I want, if I parasail though, I want a quick release on the harness from being towed by the boat. I don't, if there's something goes wrong and I have to deploy a reserve, I don't want to be being towed by a boat. That wouldn't be a good thing. And I'm not even sure a reserve would be feasible at that low of an altitude anyway. So, paragliding, on the other hand, you have parachutes on the paraglider. So, depending on your altitude, I don't think you'd be too bad off. But it's getting to that altitude to start with because you'd have to be at least 700-800 feet. May skip a few times, yeah. I should probably sell my canopy to a paraglider because, or to a parasailer because um, that canopy is 288 square feet and the reserve's 260. It's a Raven 2. So I think it's 250, 255, 250, 255, something 260, somewhere in that area. That could be my main actually. I could downsize to a 230. But what? Okay, we'll see you, buddy. You know that orange when it comes up, that really does catch my attention. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, SGT. That would, if I was 30 years old, I would do that. I would do that. That is so cool. And just think, if you ran into a rock, you wouldn't even feel it going that fast. And you'll see half the loads when you go out to drop zone. Half a load. Say the plane takes 14 people. There'll be 5 or 6 people on that plane that have the big suits on, and they just go out and they fly. They practice flying. See, back in my day, when you're doing free fall, the thing was to do relative work, fly relative to each other. link up, make big rounds, big diamond, big formation, turn points, that was a big thing. And now it's flying, standing on your head down skydiving and doing those formations. Skydiving has evolved. It really has. And now people are flying. They have the squirrel suits on. They fly. Man has always been fascinated with flight for some reason. SGT. Yeah. And you're talking about flying squirrel suit jumps, right? Yeah. I watch guys do that all the time. Go out of the plane with those. They are just awesome. They are just awesome. But yeah, anymore nowadays, you'll see half of the people on a load will be doing that discipline. It's amazing. Hardly anybody does canopy relative work anymore, where you jump out of the airplane at 14,000 feet, open, parachute, maybe 12,000, fall for a little bit, open a canopy, fly your canopies together, where you're actually, a canopy will bump up behind you like that and get your legs, and you'll grab the skirt of the canopy and the lines, and you'll climb down the lines to the other guy, so that you're standing one on top of each other, and both canopies are right above each other and flying like that. And then you can take and split the canopies so they're side by side, or you can split them even further and do a down plane so that you're flying straight down, but your bodies are still attached together like that. Or you can build stacks, you can build diamonds, formations with canopies. It's cool. It used to be a cool thing to do. And there are very few people that do canopy relative work anymore. I love to do canopy work. I thought that was one of the neatest things I ever did. I've had malfunctions, I've caused malfunctions. Um, and the chances of a malfunction doing canopy work are a lot greater, but that's why you do it high. So you have time to sort that shit out, get rid of a main, pull a reserve if you have to, or get your main flying straight again, get untangled from another person's lines, whatever. That's why you do that high. I don't know. I like that. That's fun stuff. It's just fun stuff. All right. That's all I got for packages. And I wanted to talk about invasive species for a reason, because there are, you know, the biggest invasive species that I can think of down south, and I remember seeing it when I was down there, was kudzu. It was all over the place. It taken over everything. Kudzu was everywhere. It was the only plant you saw growing. And cucumber is kind of like that. It grows over the top of other plants. It will grow up and over top of trees and kill all your trees in your grove. And the only way to get rid of it, because you can't spray for broadleaf, because you kill trees too. So the only way to do it is just to gather all of those things that grow up on the branches, pull it all off, and find where the main stem goes down to the ground, and pull that little root out. And don't drop any of those little spiky balls, because they got the seeds in. Pick them up, take them over to a burn pile, burn them, put them in a barrel and burn the fuckers. I and my wife pull, like I say, 2 pickup loads of that shit every year. The last couple of years, few years, we've been pulling less and less and less of it because we keep getting rid of it. We keep getting rid of it. But I notice it other people's places, other people's ditches up alongside the road. It just, that stuff will even creep across the road to the other ditch just so it can grow on top of the weeds. I don't know where it came from, but it will kill everything in your grove. It will kill every tree in the woods. It's nasty, nasty stuff. What's another one? Wild grapevine, of course, that's native, but that will also, it grows up. You know, it's like putting up a trellis. Grapevines grow up and out, so they'll cover stuff too. It kills trees, not as much, not as many as the cucumber does, but oh, if you're cutting down a cherry tree makes good, wonderful smoking wood for smoking meat. Wonderful. I have cherry out here that goes dead, cherry trees. Um, I gather as much cherry wood as I can because there was a restaurant in town that smoked. It was called the Piggyback Smoke Shack, and he had pulled pork and he had pork steaks and all of that. But a big smoker out back, and all he used was cherry wood. He wouldn't use anything else. No peach, no apple, no mesquite, no any of that. He wouldn't use any of that. Cherry wood, that was it. And I sold him loads and loads of cherry wood. Now he's out of business. And I got a load of cherry wood out here for somebody. What the hell am I going to do with it? Well, I can use it to smoke meat too, but I don't smoke as much as the restaurant does. So it's going to go in my wood burner for heat this winter. That's where it's going to go. I had a whole load of apple wood too. I cut, and apple wood is a good smoke. It's a lot milder than cherry or oak. I like black oak too. Got to be real careful of the tannic acid, but oak is really good too. Um, but I took a couple loads of that wood down to sale yard, and I sold it at the sale yard, but it was cheap as shit. There is no reason why I couldn't put it in a furnace out here and burn it because it would have been more advantageous to do that than to sell it. But so the last load of apple wood that I had, I just burned it in the furnace because I'm not going to do all that work and get very little money for it. I get more of a benefit, a financial benefit, from putting it in a wood stove and heating the house rather than burning propane. You see how that goes? And same with this load of cherry out here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that either. I think I'm going to advertise it, but see if somebody wants cherry wood. I think from now on, when I cut apple or cherry or smoking wood like that, I'm going to advertise it on the internet locally and see if anybody will buy it locally. Because that load out there is about, let's say half of a load, uh, half of a what do you call it? 4x4x8. What do you call that when it comes to wood? Measuring wood. Cord. There you go. So there's about half a cord in that trailer load. Yeah, and I don't mind apple for smoking. It's nice and mild. It's got a good taste, but it's mild. Cherry can get a little bit if you don't watch how much you use, like oak. If you don't watch how much you use, it can get um sharp tasting because of the tannic acid. But oak is really good to smoke with. I really do, and I like that flavor a lot. Cherry would be my second pick, then mesquite, then apple. I like mesquite. They just don't get a lot of it around here. That's all. Yeah, and when I take like when we butcher, I'll cut big slabs of bacon off of the pork, and I can slice it and make fresh bacons. Or what I'll do is I'll just take it to the locker and have them smoke it for me. I could smoke it here too, but I just don't do it. I could. I have a big smoker. And I can do cheeses and fish. I can cold smoke or hot smoke in that smoker. It's a big electrical cabinet that it's 8 foot tall, 2 foot deep, I don't know, 3 foot wide, 3 foot wide, foot and a half deep. And I modified it. I took all the electrical equipment out and I put in that cabinet, I put racks in there and hooks, and I put a smoker on the side. I have a hot plate in the bottom that's LP, so I can hot smoke from the smoke from the side, the heat come rising, or I can just use the smoker and no heat, so I can do cheese and fish in there too, cold smoke. But yeah, when I went to Colorado, we walked in mesquite, a lot of mesquite. I don't like walking in and around low mesquite bushes because of rattlesnakes. I just don't like that. And I hadn't thought about that when I booked the elk hunt or when I went out. And I didn't have any gators with me, snake gators. So I was just hoping I did get bit. I didn't. I didn't get bit. I did get an elk. I didn't get bit. We didn't see any bear while we were there, but we did see bear beds because we would walk up mountains, 8,000, 8,500 footers, and there'd be a bear bed on top. And my guide would say, "You know what that is, don't you?" So I'm not supposed to tell the clients, but he knew where I was from and what I was like. And he said, "It's a bear bed." Well, there's no bear there, so cool, we're good. Because if there was, and there was a chance I was going to get attacked, I was shooting a 7 millimeter round mag at the time, and I probably still will shoot that one if I ever go elk hunting again or muley hunting, because I like that round. I could take the 6.5 Creedmoor, but yeah, I like the Rem mag a lot. And I got a 338 Win mag too. I could take that one. I think that's a little bit big. Little bit big. That's more of a bear gun, a grizzly bear gun. But hey, yeah, kudzu is the fucking invasive plant down south. It doesn't grow up here in the north, but it does down south, and it takes over everything. Just takes it over everything. Kills everything else because it's a climber. It climbs and grows on top of everything because it wants the sun, full sun, and just kills everything underneath it. And cucumber is the same way. It's just smaller leaves, but it's nasty, invasive stuff. And I don't think that that's a naturally occurring in the United States weed. I think that got imported, like kudzu. Well, here's another one. Okay, and I told you about red foxes. Red foxes are not native to this country. Carp are not native to this country. Tilapia are not native to this country. Those are fishes. Um, Boa constrictors, which we have a big problem with down south in the Everglades, and anacondas. Those are not native to this country. Goldfishes are not native to this country. Um, Chinese ringneck pheasants, not native to this country. Hungarian partridge, not native to this country. Sage grouse, yes, are native to this country. Quail, native to this country. But yeah, there are some species that are success stories that are not native to this country that were brought here. Pheasants and red fox are two of the success stories. Um, Carp, Asian carp, German carp, all the carp, not native to this country. No. And they take over rivers. They just take over and outcompete everything. Uh, even the Japanese beetle were brought here and spread to take care of aphids on soybeans. And now we got those fucking Japanese beetles every goddamn where. And they overwinter in, like, if they could get into something in electrical receptacles, in your fuse boxes, in anything, light fixtures, anything where there's a little heat and they can get into, they will just pack it. And then they die and then they start a fire. So some things, yes, success. Some things, no. Zebra mussels are another one that clog up a lot of intake ports and ship propellers and um, intakes and exhausts for water treatment plants and sewage treatment plants and stuff. And they're everywhere. And it doesn't seem there's any way to get rid of them. There's got to be a way. There has to be a natural predator for them that will eat them and them only. And those damn little Japanese beetles, they're not like, they look like a ladybug, but they're not a ladybug. They have bigger eyes if you look at them. And if you squish one, they stink. They stink. Yeah, stripers, striped bass. Um, striped bass get big and they outcompete other fishes for food. Striped bass to eat when they're small, 12 inches or under, they're good eating. I don't like I don't like them when they're too big. Same thing with largemouth bass. I don't like largemouth bass when they're over like 3 pounds. They get to be too strong tasting. Uh, I don't know. Maybe that's just my taste bud, but yeah, that's going to be the next thing in this country. Um, and I think if people would start investing in it now, especially the people along the coast, Washington, Oregon, California, Baja California, all the way along the southern coast, the Gulf of America, Florida, up the East Coast, desalination plants, because the next shortage we're going to have is fresh water. And one of the reasons we're going to have a shortage of fresh water is because of large agricultural uses of fresh water. Large cities are going to use a lot of fresh water, and data centers are going to use a lot of fresh water. Now, in the agricultural area, when you have a 10,000 hog facility, confinement facility in one place, you need a lot of water. So you got to drill a well. Well, you're down to the water table that other people in the immediate area, within a 2 or 3 mile stretch, they're also using that water or that water table. And if that well goes dry, you pump that one dry, everybody else's well goes dry. So large hog facilities, large cattle confinement facilities, large turkey chicken facilities. And as the population grows and as people need more meat or as people need more eggs, confinement facilities are going to become more and more and more. There's going to be more of them in a smaller area because you only have so much area. They don't make any more land. They make more fresh water, but it takes a long time to do that. A very long time. Longer than you got to live. So, without fresh water, you got 3 or 4 days and you will die. That's without fresh water. You can survive 30, 40 days without food, but you're not going to survive more than a week without fresh water. Guarantee it. I will guarantee that. Yes, just look at all the reservoirs. Look at all the above ground reservoirs. And remember, water evaporates. Yes, it comes back down in the form of rain, but not in the place where you would like it to come down all the time. Because those clouds move, weather patterns, wind, upper atmosphere. And so that rain will come down in places where you don't want it to come down. Gonna go melt some stuff? Okay, SGT. We'll see you later, buddy. And if you're using more water than you're replacing, yeah, you're going to get low. Then what? When you don't have any more above ground water, you're going to have to go below ground. And when those water tables are exhausted, then what? I would be investing in desalination plants along the coast if Elon Musk, if you're listening to me, SpaceX and Starlink, Neuralink, probably all good ideas. Starlink, yes. SpaceX, yes. Neuralink, not so much. AI data centers, no, probably not a great idea. It's like flock cameras. They're going to be used for evil things as well as good things. And AI, if it becomes self-aware, is the end of the human race. That's extinction for us. That's the extinction level event. And you want to know, we're in the sixth extinction event in history anyway. So yeah, maybe it's time for humans to go. I don't know. I'll be dead by then, so I don't care. But if you think humans are going to be around for a while, and you think, like I think, that fresh water is going to be a problem, I would think that you would be investing in desalination plants. Yeah, I might be trying to buy England or fucking Greenland or wherever, but I think the idea of desalination plants on the coast would be a good idea. and then water distribution networks to distribute that water inland, because the water inland is going to dry up just like the water everywhere. And so they're going to need fresh water, and distributing, you can make trillions of dollars doing that. I think you probably make billions and billions right now doing it. But and right now, what fresh water is just like silver is right now. Silver is used for just about everything in the electrification field. Um, Solar panels, batteries, um, and the military industrial complex for guidance systems, electronics, electricity, all of that. And the only way that silver will become just another metal, or just an ordinary metal and not worth anything, will be when they find a viable substitute for it. A substitute that will do everything that silver does at the equal level or better, cheaper. Then silver will become worthless. So and fresh water will be the same thing, but fresh water will never be replaced. You can't replace it for human survival. You can replace silver for human survival, but you can't replace water. And you want to know the one reason that China buys farmland in the United States? Is because they have to import fucking 80% of their food. They can't grow it. That's why they have farmland here, because we allow them to buy it, and we shouldn't. There should be no foreign ownership of American soil whatsoever, or American property at all, period, especially farmland. Yeah, the military has desalination units, not big ones, not a statewide or a state big or a city big desalination unit. They have small desalination units that when they reach the end of their lifespan, yeah, then they sell them at auction. I actually have a bidder's number and stuff that I go to the auctions out at oh shit. Oh, the place out here on Mississippi River. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I bought some stuff at military auctions. Good place to get some stuff. State auctions, another good one for used cars. Good place. No, there should be no foreign ownership of American land or property, buildings sitting on that land, or mineral rights, or the rights to the air above it. Um, there should be no foreign ownership of that at all. Period. Period. And I think another reason that we did that was because we are $38 trillion in debt, and so like foreign countries that own that debt, well, we want something for it right now, a little anyway. So sell us some of your land. No, no, it should not be allowed to happen. No, I would rather see us default on our debt than to have any foreign country own any property in this country. I would rather we didn't we I would rather we did not have the foreign currency reserve status that we have, rather than letting foreigners own property here. There you go. There you go. Yeah, where's my wallet? I know my license is in here someplace. Right there. There's my Iowa Department of Transportation license. Let's see, where is the river, something river arsenal. That's the one for down there. That's the auction place down the road. That's the auction place down the road. I should get that all out here and take a look at it again. There's my library card. How many people still have a library card? I do. Let's see, what is this one? Okay. Let's see here. Testner's Bear. A lot of business cards in here. A lot of business cards. Just the ones that are important. My insurance agent, the gun dealer. That's a check. Always carry a blank spare check with you, just in case. Well, it looks like that's the only one I got right here. There's my mushroom card. Yeah, I have a mushroom card. A mushroom identification card. It says that I am a mushroom inspector. Shroom Day would like that. Let's see here. Insurance cards, ID cards, insurance cards, ID cards, weapons cards, DAV card, USAA card, and that's it. Okay, so I don't have, what is this? It's a really folded up piece of paper. What is it? Huh. That was a ticket to a concert. The Ideal Theater and Bar. That was for the Rocking Dead way back in the day. Don't need that one anymore. I can go in the trash. I ain't carrying all that shit around in my wallet, and I don't fucking need half of that shit. Look at all the goddamn business cards I got. I got to keep that one. That's my insurance agent. The gun dealer, I don't need him because I got him in my phone. I got my insurance agent in my phone too, but I don't really, just in case. I don't need that anymore. Do I need this? I don't need that anymore. That's all junk. I can all go in there. That's stuff I don't need in my wallet. Yeah, there are things that you should keep in your wallet. All my fishing and hunting licenses, of course. But even that is all on your phone anymore. You don't really need that stuff either anymore. keep it in your wallet. That's stupid. Huh. Ain't that something? Well, there's a lot of shit in there I didn't really need. I got my auction number for down the road. I got my DOT number. That's in case I want to buy shit from the Department of Transportation here in Iowa. That's another place to get a used car if you want one, is a DOT. Electric companies, power companies, they also sell vehicles. That's a good place to get a truck sometimes because they use trucks to bounce along power lines and check them and stuff. And they trade them off fairly often. And some of the trucks are really good. It's hard to pull the right when you walk. It's when you start getting a pain in your ass on the one side, sitting on a wallet because it's so fucking thick. I just lost 2 pounds. Well, I sure filled up the trash can there. Time is it? 1:11? I don't know. I got to go see the VA tomorrow. We got a telecommunication with my doctor. I see her over the internet, a Zoom call. I have to go to the clinic to do that. I could sit here and do that, but no, I got to go to the clinic and do that. And we're going to discuss my blood work. And the only thing that is low, I have nothing that's high. The only thing that's low is one of my kidney function tests, my BUN, whatever the hell a BUN is. Is that something you spread butter and jam on? Or I don't know. It's bilirubin and something. I don't know. I'll have my wife explain it to me. She's a med aide. Works in a nursing home. No, still got them. See, they come out Tuesday, day after tomorrow. But the thing is, I took the bandage off last night because it was wet, so I just let it dry out again. But right here, at the tip of my finger, all the way around here, I have a nice feeling there, all the way back of the nail, up to the knuckle, on the sides, underneath the stitches. I have on both sides. It's hard to show you on both sides, but underneath the stitches, I have feeling everywhere, all the way up and around. Right there, all the way up and around. Up here on the tip. The only place where I don't have feeling is right here. Right there, I have no feeling at all, hardly. Between the stitches. So we'll see what the doc says on Tuesday. That's the day after tomorrow. I'm sure they're going to take the stitches out, but I wonder what he's going to say about the feeling. All those nerve endings, they'll grow back together eventually. And if they don't, so what? You're just going to have to watch your finger from now on instead of being able to feel where you're at. I don't know. Yeah, I got to clean some of this shit up. It's still got a deep bruise right there, but it certainly is not infected, that's for sure. And I do have a feeling all the way around it, just not right in the middle where it was laid open. That flap, I don't know. It'll grow back together, I guess. It will eventually get feeling back in it, I suppose. But Okay, so now we gotta write down some information for Rhonda because, like I say, she gets to buy back her silver at the same price I bought it for. She's got a year to do that. So it's like me lending her the money, basically, and she's just giving me some silver as a hold as collateral. And all she's got to do is just pay for the shipping. That's all. And I've done that for two other people. She's the third one, and I will do that for people if they need some cash for something. But I don't want to see people sell their silver if they don't have to. I would rather they use it. It's like your gold. I would rather they use it as collateral for a loan rather than just selling it and getting rid of it. To me, that really doesn't. It makes more sense to do it as collateral than selling it. And then you have to buy it back. And then you never do. And you know how that goes. Thanks, 9 for 9. I appreciate that. And I still don't know. Somebody tell me who I was supposed to send this syrup to. Where am I supposed to send this syrup? I don't know where it's supposed to go. I deleted the email. I don't know where it's supposed to go. If you were supposed to get syrup, tell me that you were supposed to get syrup, and I will mail it. I don't know who it was. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know who it was either. I don't think it was Mike for Democracy. I thought it was in California, but I know it wasn't. I don't think it was Sorcerer Stan. You know what? You know what that. I don't think they would even let it across the border. Maple syrup, homemade maple syrup, and the jar is sealed. It's hot packed, so it's not going to open, and I tape it closed anyway. And it's packaged really well, so it's not going to break. It's in a glass jar. It's not going to break unless they hit it with a sledgehammer. But um, letting an agricultural product go across the border that hasn't been inspected by USDA, they wouldn't let it. Wouldn't let it. And if they did, you know how much that would cost me to send it up there with a tariff? Oh shit. There you go, Tarragon Sue. That's what you get. But see, people down here, they don't. I, a lot of people, I don't think they understand how maple syrup is made, what it actually looks like, compared to the crap they get in the grocery store. That at best maybe 10% real maple syrup. The rest of it's high fructose corn syrup and caramel coloring and shit. You know, they expect when they pour it on a stack of pancakes or on their pancakes that it's just going to flow on the outside real slow. No, that's not what real maple syrup does. Real maple syrup is more watery and soaks up into pancakes and waffles just like a sponge soaks up water. Same thing, but it's maple flavored. That's real maple syrup. I can take this and make it thicker because I take it right up to a soft candy boil the way it is. I can go a little bit higher than that, not to a hard candy boil, but that's what will happen. Sugar crystals, white sugar crystals, will start to form in the bottom of the jar when I pour it off, and there'll be a piece of maple rock candy in there that is just difficult as hell to get off of the glass. But that can be done. I can make maple rock candy, and I can make that a little thicker, but I'm not going to. I can add something to it to thicken it up, what do they call that stuff? It's a thickener for like soups and stuff. I could put that in there and thicken it up, but dark and amber. Yeah, you can add coloring, or you can use syrup from different tree species. Like walnut is darker, so you can add a little walnut to the maple. One drop of syrup per 40 drops of maple water. What are you talking about? One drop of syrup per 40 drops of maple water. Are you talking about sap? Yeah, and it's about a 40-to-1 ratio. And because I use soft maple trees down here, I don't have a lot of hard maples. I use silver soft maples. And some years it can get up to 60-to-1 a ratio. So gallon per gallon, 60-to-1, you're looking at two barrels, two 32-gallon barrels full of sap for 1 gallon of syrup. That's how much you have to boil the water off. And people don't realize that. People don't realize that. How much boiling it actually takes. I had my brother make me I had an old tin pan that I got from Wisconsin. My cousins up there used to boil on. It's 80 to 100 years old now. A small pan, it's only about 4 inches tall by 4 foot by 2 foot wide that they used to boil sap in. But I made a stove out of a 350-gallon fuel oil tank. So one of those oblong ones, lay it on its side, cut the top open, fire bricks in there, and I got the stack going out the back and the door in the front for wood. And the fire brick from the burn chamber comes up across the bottom of the pan and then back down and out the stack. And I had him make me a stainless steel pan that's 10 inches tall by, what is it, 4 foot long by 2.5 foot wide. It'll hold 60 gallons of sap. So I am constantly boiling sap down in there. And when I get it down so far, I strain it when it comes off of the pan because I have a spout, and it goes through a strainer and into a pail, and then I take it into my shed, and I do a final boil on a electric stove in there. So I will final boil it there, and then I will strain it one more time, and then it'll go into jars and get sealed. But I can final boil it on the stove, but then you're heating up just a very, very small area, and you're heating up that whole pan for just that small area of syrup. And then you got a chance of burning it. So I don't do that. Yeah. And I boil for what? A week straight, probably a week or two, depending on how long the season is. Like this year, this spring, our sap season was 2 days long. That's it, 2 days. It wasn't even worth my time to go out and tap trees. I didn't tap at all this spring because I just knew by the winter what the sap season was going to be like. And sure enough, it was 2 days long. So, but there are years when the sap season is a month long, 3 weeks, and you're constantly emptying buckets, constantly emptying pails, constantly emptying bags. And I strain it when it goes into the barrel. I strain it when it comes out of the barrel and goes into the pan. I strain it when it comes out of the pan and goes to the final boil. And then I strain it one more time before it goes into the jars. So, Yeah, it depends on the year. You can just about tell by the winter how the spring sap season is going to be because you need moisture in the ground. Because most people don't know that maple sap on maple trees put their buds on in the fall. If you look up at the edge of the branches, the buds are on the end of the branches in the fall. They stay there all winter. All right. Those are going to be the leaves in the spring. The sap in the tree all retreats as it gets colder below freezing, retreats down into the roots of the tree. And in the spring, when the temperature gets above freezing, above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, that sap starts to rise in the tree and goes up to the buds and feeds them. And when it gets below freezing, as sap comes back down, above freezing goes back up. So you need temperatures where uh, the temperature is above freezing during the day, but below freezing at night. So the sap is going up and down in the tree, that capillary action, and you're drilling a hole in a tree that's an inch, inch and a half, inch deep, and you're putting a tap in there and just interrupting that flow up and down. That's all you're doing. So you're taking a little bit of that flow from that tree of that sap that's going up and down. Are you hurting the production of the leaves in the spring? No, you're not, because that tree produces more sap than it can possibly use. If you don't believe that, scrape the bark off a tree someplace, injure it somehow, and watch how that sap scabs over and heals that tree. So yeah, there's extra sap there. And then once the temperature gets above freezing and stays above freezing, day and night, your sap season is over. It's done. Because then there's no up and down action of the sap. It just climbs up and it stays up. That's it. You're done. And most people don't realize that. And most people in the States, anyway, if they're not living along the North Tier or up in the New England states, don't know shit about maple syrup. Maple toffee, yes. I love toffee. Geez, yes. With peanuts in too. Like peanut brittle. Toffee, peanut brittle, yes. Well, see, you have a lot, Tarragonte, you have a lot of hard maples up there. And a hard maple sap is probably a different color than these silver maples down here. And also, what's that other tree? I forget. It's in the maple family. You can tap it, but you don't see a lot of them down here anymore. I forget what it is. I'm killing smalls. Am I killing smalls? Oh, making maple syrup is one of the things that I've done since I was a young man because my cousins up in Wisconsin made it all the time. They live in northern Wisconsin and they made it all the time. And I always wanted to go up there and help them in the spring when it was maple season to learn how to do it. Well, never did get up there, could never time it just right. So I started doing it here, and I would have him on the phone as I was doing it. And he would tell me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. And that's how I learned to do it. I taught one of my neighbors how to tap her own trees. And they've since moved now and they sold that place, but she used to make a couple gallons every year. So and I did, when we had the Conservation Commission would have their annual rendezvous down here, I would set up and do presentations. And the first few years, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years, I did a maple syrup demonstration. I have a small stove that I could load onto a trailer with my little pan. My little pan fits on that. And the stove is made out of a 55-gallon drum. And I could load that, take that over, set it up, and then I would take a trailer over, had two 350-gallon water tanks on, and I would fill them 2/3, 3/4 of the way full of water, haul that over, and just use that because that's what I would pour sap into. When I was really running 200 taps, I would fill those up with sap and boil them off. And so I'd fill them up with water, and I would tap some trees, and maybe tap one or two trees, hang bags or hang pails, how we used to do it, and show them how to make maple syrup, how to boil it off, blah blah blah, and show them the process. Now it wasn't real sap, so we weren't making real maple syrup, but I would sell maple syrup, and I showed them taps. Well, we used to use pieces of copper pipe, soft copper pipe, with a screw on that I could hang a small pail on to catch sap. Pound that into a tree because you have to drill a hole, pound it into a tree. Until I got regular commercial made taps and bags and hangers, but little gallon and a half pails with a wire handle on, and I would use those, or 2-gallon pails. Anything with a wire handle. I would use ice cream buckets with a wire handle on. I would take the plastic handle off, put wire on, and hang them. I lost a lot of buckets that way to wind and deer, and because the deer know that that's fresh liquid in the spring, and they will come and they'll drink out of your buckets. They'll drink sap out of your buckets if you have open buckets. And I lost a lot of it because they would something would scare them or startle them, and the bucket would come off of the tap because it's only hanging on there by a little bit, and they would take off with it on their head and they'd lose it in the woods or whatever. I lost a lot of buckets that way until I started to get bags and hangers, and then they couldn't get in them to drink anymore. But no, it's just something I do. It's just, something that occupies my time in the spring when there's nothing else going on. The ice hasn't gone out yet. You can't go fishing. Well, you can, but I don't ice fish anymore. I sold all that stuff. I don't bow hunt anymore. I sold all that stuff. I'd like to sell this 16-foot walk-through windshield boat I got with a 70-horse motor on, because I got a 14.5-foot little V-hull that I fish out of with a 15-horse motor on it. That's all I need. I don't need the big ski boat. I had that for when kids were younger and we go tubing. Like to sell that one, get rid of it. And as you get older and your kids leave and you buy stuff, you sell stuff, you get rid of stuff, and it's just time to get rid of some stuff. But that's what I do in the spring. One of the things, like today, I should go out and start up the forge, and I got to heat up that one knife I'm making. It's a file, an old rasp, but it's too thick yet. I got to pound it down. I got to thin it out. I could grind it and thin it, but that takes way too long and too many belts. I have a 25 pound power hammer. And so I can either beat it by hand, I can use a power hammer, or I have a hydraulic press that has a control. I don't have to pump it. It has a hydraulic pump on it and a tank. And I can do it that way and thin it down. But I should do that. Yeah. Big dozers and chop wood. Yeah, fun chopping wood when you're a kid. It ain't so fun when you're old. But okay, I guess that's it. We're at 2.5 hours. I think that's probably all I wanted to do today. So I guess maybe we'll see you guys later. Take care. We'll see what this looks like right here on Tuesday. We'll let you know then. Take care, you guys. Peace out.